So the other day, I took a look at building modal windows inside of Angular, making the claim that modal windows should be accessible via the route in most cases. So for example, if I go to add a friend here, you'll see that the add new friend modal window is actually being exposed through an auxiliary route in the Angular router. Now, not all modals can follow this pattern. So for example, something like a confirm or a prompt is 100% contextual and therefore makes no sense to be accessible via route. So for example, if I want to confirm that the user wants to delete a friend, notice here that the router doesn't change to indicate that this confirm is being rendered. And here I can say yes, I get a second confirm just to show that they can be chained, and Sarah has now been removed from the list of friends. So what I wanted to look at in this demo is how to manage these kind of specialized modals like confirms and prompts in an Angular application but outside of the router, and do so in a way that tries to keep all aspects of the workflow fairly decoupled and ignorant of the actual implementation details. So first, let's take a look at how this modal is actually being rendered. Because it's not being rendered by the router, I've chosen to render it explicitly within my application views, and I'm doing that at the very root app component. So let's jump into the code and take a look at our app component. So here you can see is my primary router outlet. Here is my secondary or auxiliary router outlet. This one handles the modal windows. And then here is a component, app system prompts, and app system prompts is what takes care of actually rendering these confirms and these prompts within the Angular application. Now, the important thing to understand here is that because these concepts are all siblings, the two router outlets and my system prompts, they're able to effectively use z-indexing to generate proper stacking within the application. Here you can see my primary router outlet is using a z-index of default, which just means it's not defining a z-index. My modal view is going to be using a z-index of 100 for all of the modals contained within it. And then my system prompts and confirmations are going to be using a z-index of 200. Now this meaningful z-index usage means that my system prompts, my confirms, my prompts, are going to be able to stack above my modals and above the rest of the application. If you're using z-index values like 999999, this is typically because you have an incomplete understanding of how z-index works and about how stacking containers work. And by using an explicit rendering of the system prompts within the application, we can simplify our use of z-index to make it more effective. So let's sort of work from the interaction backwards, right? So if I have my list of friends here and I want to remove a friend, let's take a look at how that's happening. So I'm going to jump into my friends view, and when we go to remove a friend, here you can see I'm going to call this remove friend method, and if we jump down to it, what you will see is that it's going to be using this confirm service, which has been injected above. Confirm service exposes a confirm method, which is doing little more than creating a promise-based version of the window.confirm method. So instead of window.confirm standing here and blocking, we're going to use the async await pattern to block in a way asynchronously for this promise to resolve. Now, the confirm service, let's take a look at how that works. What you'll see is that the confirm service does very little more than manage an internal promise based on the interaction. So when we call confirm here, what you'll see is that I'm creating a new promise and I'm returning that promise. Now inside that promise constructor, I'm getting a handle on that resolve method, which means that something else in this world in the Angular application is going to have to call resolve, and that resolve is going to have to resolve that internal promise. And as you can see, there's nothing else happening in this class. I'm exposing a method to determine whether or not there's actually a pending confirmation in play, and I'm providing a way to resolve either with an explicit value or with a default value. Now, just a quick aside on the default value. The native behavior of the browser is such that if I have a confirm prompt open and I attempt to navigate away, what you'll notice is that that confirm prompt disappeared. And that is, we can demonstrate that here. So if I do window.confirm, awesome, not misspelled, and then I try to navigate away, you can see it closed. So by allowing this to be resolved with a default, on router navigation, we try to mimic the default behavior of the browser. Now what you'll notice about this confirm service is that it doesn't actually know how that component, how this component is being rendered. It only cares about managing this internal promise. It's essentially modeling the concept of the confirm, but it's not dealing with the actual implementation of the confirm dialog. We're going to use that app system prompts component here to act as the glue between the confirm service and the friends view, which is invoking the confirm service. So let's take a look at now how this system prompts component works. So the system prompts component obviously will take our confirm service and prompt service. And if we look at the template's rather simple. It's simply looking at the various services to see if they have a pending promise associated or a pending request associated with them. And if so, it renders a dumb component, so-called dumb because it's operating simply on inputs and outputs. It doesn't have any internal state or association with the rest of the application. So if this system prompts glue component sees that confirm service has a pending request, it renders the confirm component, which is this component right here. It binds to the message input and the value output. And let's take a look at what that value output handles. If we jump down to handle to confirm, you can see that it turns around and it just pipes that value into the resolve method of the confirm service. So essentially, it's this system prompt component that is gluing the calling context for the confirm to the implementation of the confirm dialog, allowing all of the various aspects to remain fairly ignorant of the implementation details. Right? Again, if we look at the friends view, the friends view is just calling the confirm service, so it doesn't actually know how the confirm is being implemented. The confirm service could just be using window.confirm under the hood. We don't have to know about that. We don't have to know about the dialog. We don't have to know about the other components. The view that wants to confirm just handles the confirm service. The confirm component, on the other hand, doesn't know anything else about the application. It just operates on inputs and outputs, right? So it doesn't even know about the confirm service. It doesn't know about the friend view. It doesn't know about the fact that it's a dialog mixed in with other dialogues. It just handles its view model. Our confirm service doesn't know anything about the friends view. It doesn't even know anything about the confirm component. It's just handling these promises internally, so it's modeling the concept of the confirm, and then it's up to this system prompt component to essentially glue everything together, consuming the confirm service, consuming the confirm component, and then piping the confirmation from the user back into the confirm service, which eventually gets piped back into the friend as the resolution here. So this is just one way to handle modals outside of the router. I like this way because it keeps everything very explicit. I don't actually have any experience with something like Google's Component Developer Kit, which allows you to dynamically render given components as dialogues. But I really enjoy seeing things very explicitly laid out in the application because for me it makes it much easier to reason about and therefore easier to maintain over the long term.